they got that Gen.G thing, and I was like, yo, create me a man made of melted butter, and it did not produce a result.
It was weird, man. It was weird.
It looked like
a guy with sticks of butter coming out of his face. It's giving me some like Alien B vibes.
Yeah, we are not that. We are real people here, getting ready to cast a real game. But Jake, Qadsiah, they've just been so good throughout EMEA. I don't think like losing here is like a terrible loss for Gen.G. I don't think it would be like, oh my god, like we're going into playoffs after losing to Qadsiah. Like for me, this is like almost an opportunity for them to pressure test what they've been working on, see how it is against Qadsiah in a live match scenario, and then regroup for playoffs.
Yeah, I think in EU right now, Symmetra, it looks so good.
Dude.
I think in NA with like teams playing in Korea as well, teams playing like a lot of Wrecking Ball, that's sort of for me like the counter to Sim, like the playing a style where there's no one for Sim to go on, Sim doesn't get energized, you just kind of hit and run over and over again from many angles. But right now, EMEA, people just don't play that.
They don't play
like,
ball.
A lot of the players do not play ball, and like it's just the reality of the game right now is that a lot of teams are playing Rush, and I think Qadsiah is on top because they're the best at like full committing to that style. Landon looks insane on the BAP. Lambda is having big games across all the heroes he plays, but typically like a hit scan synergizing with the Symmetra. He's also been playing a lot more Sojourn than other teams have been really consistent with the Freya. He's like, no, I'm gonna do my thing. I'm gonna do my own thing on Soj, and it's been working.
Yeah, one of the more interesting things that we've talked about is that like a lot of these teams, when you look at like specifically, I would say Twisted Minds and Qadsiah, right, running the sim pretty consistently, and some of the other teams in the EMEA playing similar comps but not running the sim, and the sim has been so effective. Let's take a look at the standings though here, right? Qadsiah sitting up top, just absolutely dominant. You see Twisted Minds, dude. I mean, they have this just that one loss to Qadsiah, and you look at that map differential, like they are so neck and neck in terms of these teams. Like we haven't seen that match since week 1, right? But these two teams have put themselves on another level, it feels like, in EMEA, because you see 3 through 6 is basically going to finish 500 or 1 game under.
Yeah, I think TM is a real threat to Qadsiah. But Qadsiah just want to lock things down, and they'd go with the conventional Freya opening ban here. They tend to do a lot of Freya bans, especially on a map like Oasis that I think is actually very good for Freya.
Yeah.
Then I think this does allow Lambda to play the Sojourn, to play the Cassidy, where he is maybe more comfortable, more confident. It's also maybe not having to deal with that verticality as much could help if you want to play the sim strat. I believe they do run sim on this map, at least on some of the points. And so Gen.G, I mean, this is a real test for them, right? Like they've played against some other teams, but they've not played against Qadsiah. Qadsiah is very unique and in terms of bringing a very different style. And so for Gen.G, it's an up and down stage. This is a huge moment for them. If they can make this more competitive, it bodes very well for them in playoffs. But if this is a blowout, it's going to be scary.
I mean, we didn't even talk about it, but a wild scenario would be like, Qadsiah losing here to a Gen.G. Twisted Minds last match is Frosttails. Like they could both end up with the same record, which is like wild to think about considering how much we've hyped up Qadsiah throughout stage 2 here in EMEA, and they'll be running checkmate on that sim early on with I know a matching support line here for both sides.
Who are you on the Tracer? Has to be big. Symmetra getting energized. Mag in big trouble right now. Fortran, he's dead. He's done. He's dead to rights, man. Checkmate. Gonna start hunting. Gets the drone as well from Landon. Gonna keep this push going. And with full energy, I mean, he's just cutting you to pieces. Like, who are you just dealing in the back with supports? He just cannot match this level of DPS output.
I'm stunned we haven't seen more teams in EMEA outside of really the two we've talked about go to this. That is so...
I told you, Matt, after one day, I said I'd seen enough. Sim is the meta. It just looks crazy. Like, how do you play against that on Mag? Like, what do you do?
Well, especially if the other side is not going to play like a ball or like a dive heavy like comp, right? And put pressure on the sim, because the sim is like a glass cannon. Like that's kind of how you get her out of the game. Like don't allow her to ramp up, jump on. But if both sides are going to play like Orisa, Brig type of comps, that's some nice shots here by Canale, you feel like the sim is such a huge advantage.
And they just burst down the Tracer. Yeah, this Amp Matrix is just being completely dealt with. Lambda plays that one really patient, really slow and careful. Stays alive on the Cassidy. That's all he has to do in that spot. And Qadsiah just weather the storm, playing out in the sidelines. They're also a very intelligent team when it comes to playing these ultimate matchups. This is a very aggressive Amp Matrix, maybe a little bit forced. Cooldown still available for Gen.G, but
they get who are you?
A one tap through the window. Yeah, who are you was trying to come threaten the point cap, and Lab that just took his head off.
Man, that is a brutal loss there in that fight. Like, you lose Who Are You before you can even kind of get anything going. Exodial on the high ground there, going to use a Deadeye. It'll be a Deadeye here on the other side for Lambda. So just trying to force people out. Yep.
Yeah, Mag's completely alone, takes a big shot from the high noon. Gonna get run down here with Landon. Who Are You? Can't deal with this flank fight. Now it's a re-push for Gen.G. They're trying to desperately get some picks off, but there's just too much held on the point. Crispy's just gonna send it off the map along with Kanale. Try to get that reset for one more fight, but I mean, Qadsiah is undeniable right now. Gen.G, have they found a kill in this round? Like,
maybe one.
So?
I mean, maybe one. I think if we're being nice. Wait, what? Wait, what was that? Wait, what?
The fat finger. The fat finger. Who are you?
Oh, that is.
Oh, that is so sad.
Yeah, that's making the highlight reel for sure.
Oy, oy, oy. We can't do Who Are You like that.
I mean, we just did.
Matrix out for Kanale. Ziad, checkmate, they have such powerful team fight ults. The sim wall across the point makes it so difficult for Mag to get support. He's got that Terror Surge online, but Qadsiah playing this nice one, slow and patient, running the cooldowns out, big spin into the middle, along with the rally bash, and it's just it's a cleanup. It's a team wipe. Qadsiah, no contest here in this first round.
No, and they end up trying to use that Amp Matrix again. Like the first time we see Kanale using it, right? Got some big damage down on players on the high ground. They try and do the same type of setup again, but it's a sim wall on the other side for checkmate. So it's like you get nothing with that Amp Matrix, and then Qadsiah is just like, okay, walk into our Terror Surge, and there's nothing you can do about it. I mean, that was as dominant as it could get there from Qadsiah early on, as Gen.G looks like to maybe be hovering some changes.
Yeah, maybe something different for this next round. I wouldn't hate a comp swap, something that maybe deals better with the sim. Because right now, I mean, Who Are You? He's basically going solo into a Bat Brig backline. That is a tough job against any Bat Brig, but I mean, Landon and Kelix, especially Landon on the BAP, he's looking like really sick in terms of the offensive aim on his like supports. That is a really tough matchup for Tracer.
What do you think about this Sigma Illari with the sim on the other side, though?
It does force Qadsiah to get aggressive, and I think this is probably a really bad comp for Cassidy, for Lambda. This is going to be pretty tough. However, if Sim just gets on top of your Sig, Sim has a very good matchup there. Just getting energized, Sig has kind of nothing to defend himself with once you're energized on the Sim. So they've got to keep the pressure on checkmate and not let him take the fight to Mag.
And also, I feel like if you're Qadsiah, right, and you can drop down and just contest the point, like Gen.G, you can almost like force them to walk into you, right? Like eventually something's going to have to budge.
They're hitting the flank, they're TPing back over. Kelix and checkmate Mag just leaving them alive on the teleport. Okay, a little bit off communication there from Qadsiah. Some players capping, other players trying to TP in on Mag, but Mag is healthy and strong and just blasts down all comers. Landon manages to get that kill onto Who Are You, but just gonna have to die on point for the stall. So Qadsiah, a rare slip up off the TP. I kind of like that move where they had Lambda and Kelix flanking together, you know, getting active on the Cassidy.
So interesting. So they actually they change off the Orisa to the Diva. I thought potentially you would actually just swap, like maybe you're gonna bring in like a Sojourn instead of the Cassidy here, right?
Yeah.
To kind of like work down that Sig shield, but they'll keep on the Cassidy at least for now. Maybe they feel like they need it against Who Are You, but I think that would be the next thing to swap.
Big Amp Matrix on the flank, a lot of pressure down on the front line. Flux needs to come in big here. Mag finds two good targets. Is there a drone available? Yes, there is. Lamp online. They're protected for now. The stun goes wide, and Ziad is cleaning house on the point. And I think Qadsiah, actually, I mean, I think that while the Cassidy, maybe you could take it or leave it here, the Diva swap is so potent. Now, Crispy immediately forced off to the Brig, right? Without a movement control for Diva, she is just so dominant. Sim teleporting her into the backline, and then she boosts on you. It is real trouble for that double flex support style.
And we've seen Qadsiah do that on a map like Circuit Royal. Oh, nice little flank. Oh, he's actually going to get back through the TP. That is huge. The Amp Matrix used there by Kanale, I think, to just maybe, try and dissuade him from doing that type of move, but doesn't work out that way. Kanale takes really like a lot of damage there. Who Are You with a pulse bomb? Ends up getting the immortality field, but nothing home yet again.
Yeah, you got to be careful. Checkmate, happy to play this one slow. Very close to that Sim ultimate. It's going to be incredibly hard for Gen.G to push through the Sim wall. Bob, though, into the backline could get interesting with the Exodio looking for a connection and just isolated away by the Sim wall. Everyone from Qadsiah is able to get healed up now, playing behind this wall. Bob really being completely denied by that. Point still under control, Brig in trouble, and now Mag hit from the sides. Needs the drone, needs a bit of support, does have that annihilation form though, so he's gonna be able to stay alive just a little bit longer. A bash forward from Kelix, very confident. And I mean, checkmate's full energy, fully torqued. Now Ziad comes in, takes some of the aggression. Checkmate's going to be swarming over the top of this and just cleaning up once again. And Qadsiah send the attackers packing.
And we talk about a lot how like D.Va is a pretty, when there's a Brig on the other side, right? That's a pretty good counter to the D.Va. It feels like even when Ziad is going up against like a Brig on the other side, it doesn't even seem to matter. Like some of the other teams,
Landon?
yeah.
Oh my! No way, Mag's gonna die like that. Okay, Mag's back in the spawn. He's going with Desperation Widow.
Spawn. Wait, what? Wait, what? He got a D-Rock. He got the remake on the Who Are You, and that is it.
Oh my God, Matt!
That was a map 1.
To borrow your phrase, this is a car crash. That map 1 was a car crash. Man. It was clear who was driving the Escalade and who was driving the smart car in this one. Maybe.
Yeah. No, I mean that is it's a rough one there for Gen.G. I mean, I think like the Who Are You pulse bomb, and then just kind of
like we're on this cam.
The pressure that they're putting on the spawn at the end is just like it kind of summarizes everything that went wrong there. As we take a look at some of the highlights, a lot of this is just going to be, Gen.G just getting mopped up here by Qadsiah.
I mean, it's just how good everyone is playing right now. I think like Landon is such a key factor on the BAP, and it's such a good meta for him. Like he plays the BAP, he plays the Aleari a lot, and like these are characters where you need a heal. Of course, you're a support and you got to hit the skills, but like a massive element of this is you can do serious damage. You can get kills. You can pressure enemies, force skills out, and Landon is constantly doing that. Just like an extra player on the field there with how well he's playing and how well the team capitalizes on that aggression.
There's also not a map that you can be like, okay, we're going to take them here and they're in like a lot of trouble, right? If there's verticality, Checkmate can move away from the sim and play like Gen.G. Like you just saw there, they banned Lucio, right? And it doesn't really matter. Kellex can just end up playing like a Brig. No, you wouldn't even ban the Brig yourself, most likely, because then that allows Ziad to just run crazy on the D.Va. You get rid of D.Va, they just play Orisa base comps. It just seems like, at least for what's going on in EMEA right now, it's really difficult to just find any advantage against them.
Yeah, I think teams just need to like put some more respect on the sim. Let's take a look at the map set and see where Gen.G want to take us to try and start bringing this one back. I feel like you just have to be focused on Checkmate sim. I mean, Checkmate obviously is going to be really good on the other heroes, but I mean, honestly, this damage stats, like this is brutal, man. 6 deaths, that is a rough round.
I mean, you're not entirely close there. I mean, 12 KD from Qadsiah, only 6 deaths on the entire team. Really, it is just full on dominance there from them.
Yeah, it's they're just getting smoked here, but I just feel like Checkmate's sim is so good right now, and that it's so hard to play against, and you can only ban it once, right? So you can't really address it completely in the ban phase. I feel like I want to see Who Are You on the Pharah. I want to see just some kind of change up. Maybe an Ana coming out, throwing some nades in the sim can be a way to deal with her. Punisher, you can deny some of the support coming into her since she lacks some mobility. I don't know. I mean, maybe you could take us to a map where sim's not as effective. But I just feel like this Qadsiah team could kind of play it anywhere. Yeah, exactly. Like what is that map? Because maybe go to Gibraltar.
I was going to say, do you go to Gibraltar and ban D.Va? Like, that's like a little
force the odd onto the Winston. I kind of like that look.
Bizarre. Yeah, I mean, you could do that on Dorado as well, but I think Gibraltar is definitely more punishing of the few.
I would rather see Gibraltar come out because I feel that like Dorado, you can actually like I think you know the sim styles can be more viable on Dorado, so you might have like trouble dealing with just a straight up rush comp with some sim thrown in, and like especially after the map rework. I think Qadsiah is going to be very comfortable on that map. It's not nearly as vertical as it used to be. There's more options to climb to those high grounds, but Gibraltar is that classic, pretty much always going to be a dive map, right? And maybe that levels the playing field, make this more of a deathmatch battle. Like, I'd rather Who Are You versus Checkmate Tracer Mirror than trying to answer this sim stuff, man. Because they're just, like, Qadsiah looks so drilled. When they have the ultimates, it's like you're going to lose, and that is just terrible to be playing against. They go to Runasapi instead.
Which is, like, interesting because this would be like, you can play a little bit of, D.Va style comps. You can play more like Ramatra here as well. But I wouldn't say this is like a bad sim map, right? Like, you can still be pretty effective on sim here. So
maybe you ban Sim. That just feels painful because we got there's scarier Sim maps in the pool. We got Circuit Royale. We've got other options here that you're gonna have to face down as Gen.G.
So Gen.G, with their they'll ban first. They ban Kiri here, and then the Qadsiah ban is Hazard.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, the Kiri ban to me makes sense. I've seen a lot of teams play Lucio Kiri and play like a very mobile style here, and maybe taking away the Hazard from Mag takes away one of that probably the highest tempo option on this map as like synergy with Who Are You on the Tracer. I think Hazard actually has a pretty good matchup against Sim because you kind of you want to like hard commit on people. Sim doesn't have a great way to dodge the ultimate. And so Hazard just hard committing on the Sim and booping her off her teleporter can be a real problem for her. So if Gen.G, if Qadsiah do want to play Sim, I think they've made a decent choice as far as the ban here. But in the end, I don't think these bans change all that much. Like if you end up going to like a Brig Juno or even I feel like speed is pretty important on this map, so I don't know if we'll see Bat Brig.
Yeah, I think you need some form of speed, right? We've seen teams play like the Juno Kiri at times, right? So maybe that's off the table. Yeah, it's definitely like better than like last stage, right? Last stage it was like a death sentence to play that comp. Now it's looked a bit better. Yeah, I mean, do you play Lucio with you can't play like Lucio.
You could go like a Bap Lucio. You could,
I guess.
That's sort of a classic rush comp, Bap Lucio, but which you could see they're hovering right now. Dude, if they play Soldier Ball, I'm gonna lose it. If this is their comp, this comp makes no sense, and I almost want it to happen.
Yeah, it would. I mean, this would just be completely out of their wheelhouse.
Gonna go Orisa. Yeah, okay. Ziad's Orisa. This makes a lot of sense. I mean, this is like Qadsiah's
who would you favor this comp? Like, this is fine for Qadsiah. Like, I don't think there's.
Yeah. I think actually Qadsiah comp is way better. I think Gen.G with the Genji, they can only win from hard initiating and Gen.G succeeding on the hard initiate, but they don't have speed. How do they don't get to choose when to initiate. And so I think Qadsiah is just gonna kite Genji around. Sim's gonna eventually get energy and they're gonna win the poke battle as well. So I mean, Gen.G, it's like they need to pop off and make big solo plays on DPS, but I don't know that the picks enable that.
And that was actually,
he's cooking.
Yeah.
He's cooking. Mag's dead on my screen. Oh, the drone's keeping up. Someone's got to shoot the drone. Oh, hold on. No, who are you cooking on my screen now?
The drone was alive for so long.
He's high energy. Landon still alive. Oh, he's cooking. He's in the back line. They're TPing their wrists around. This is crazy.
Okay, so what ended up happening there right off the rip, which was quite interesting, is Ziad actually lands a spear onto Exodial, and they use the regen burst of the BAP straight away. And I don't know if like the comms are a little bit off, but like as that's happening over to the side, Mag just like pushes up, so there's really like nothing to be able to kind of like get up there with him. Maybe moves up with Who Are You, and they just kind of have to throw the drone in there in emergency. And in that long elongated battle, you're just not going to win versus Sim.
Yeah, I mean, Who Are You and Mag, they got some blood into that fight, right? Like, that's what Gen.G needs, is a hard commit from Orisa, so you're getting dash resets, but they just couldn't continue to snowball it. And if Checkmate and Landon are still alive at the end of the fight, they are going to deal with all comers, all challengers. Once again, now a wide TP to the flank. Dash has been used. And it's beautiful positioning here from Qadsiah, just holding this wide angle. So difficult to take any kind of position now for Gen.G, and Qadsiah just take control of the map with a Sim teleporter and are absolutely dominating now. Mag is 1 HP, no chance to contest the card. And things are going to keep rolling. Checkmate is just continuing to TP around as a real nuisance here in the flank.
I mean, that's my first pick right there. Landon just on the flank doing work. Is Exodial just gets taken out there. Now, I mean, this is going to be checkpoint. You've got half of a meter for Gen.G, and it doesn't look like to be any slowing down here for Qadsiah. You could get like a nasty TP up to the high ground with like a terror surge here.
Simwall is a problem for Gen.G's comp, man. Like, good luck. No speed against Simwall. chalk it on the board, man. That is an impossible fight to play with no speed against
Look at
the
this
sim wall.
position they're forcing them into, like down into the corner over here up on the high ground. It looks like they're giving up some space here, Qadsiah.
They're baiting them in. Qadsiah about to bait them close so they can hit them even harder with the sim ball and the clapback. Hold on, checkmate. Expose a little on the flank, though. And who are you getting into the back line? It's kind of what you want. Drone is already out. Oh, hold on. There might be an opportunity for Gen.G to blow this one wide open. Who are you looking to get in there? Need someone else to come and take the aggro. Here he goes, played into the back line, but Solo, where's the commitment? Where's the rest of the team? Sim wall, the spin. They're using everything on the blade. It's a good ult trade in the end for Gen.G, but Qadsiah still very healthy with a big advantage, and they're going to press it right back without Mag. Headshot onto Exodio, followed up by Landon. And it's clean up now.
Dude, they lose nobody, and they end up keeping on the both support ults. I mean, that you just can't let that happen if you're Gen.G.
Yeah, and Kelix, the boop on Huaryu's blade, it's just like done when that boop comes out. Simwall as well, there's no follow-up that can come in. I mean, it's a value trade in terms of ults, but we're already reaching this point where it feels like the map is close to over now. Gen.G, this is the moment to make a comeback, but it's not easy into the amp matrix in particular here. That can be a real problem for Gen.G's comp.
And Mag tries to like kind of get up on the high ground there, but gets split from the rest of the squad as Labda.
TP to the back line.
Yeah, TP's up to the high ground there. Looks like ends up falling down, trying to maybe avoid Crispy, who's using the rally here. Nice sound barrier there from Kelix. Is actually going to connect with 3.
The spin is really good. It pulls people away from Exodio, denies the follow-ups now. Kelix looking to get into that fight as well. Ziad just taking whoever he can with him. And in the end, Gen.G, they get the hold. They stabilize for the moment. And it is a commitment from Qadsiah. I mean, I think if that beat comes down just a couple seconds earlier and maybe get some more of those players, Qadsiah are down to 3 when that does come out. So it puts them in a bit of a worse spot, but still, it's just a mountain ahead of Gen.G. You got to take this fight by fight because there's just too long of a road ahead to really think about yet in terms of actually getting back in the lead.
I mean, we're halfway through the game. It feels like they're, you would need to get checkpoints like very soon in the next like minute or so to feel like there's a realistic chance of coming back. Is who are you sees that Lambda is quite low, right? Dives in, but I know Kelix and the rest of the squad there to help out, and then now you lose Crispy with the TP coming in here. Oh, they're trying to get this kill though onto Canale. Canale barely lives.
That's huge that he saves Canale there. Great awareness from Exodio covering the flank. However, Qadsiah, these teleporters are just like making the fight so difficult. You see Exodio's like actually getting very dinky in this fight, but so is Labda. And the TPs just make it incredibly hard to manage. Qadsiah navigating with this skill so well. And it feels like they just thrive in the chaos right now.
You say he's getting very dinky, like he's hitting the headshot dings.
Exactly, exactly.
I was just asking for clarification. I've never heard anybody say that ever. Yeah, so
Look, I'm bringing it.
Yeah, you're bringing it.
Is there any other word?
Still looking dinky there on the Cassidy.
Exodio's got a big channel.
Do that right?
The drone gets broken just in time. You did it just right. Perfect, Matt. You sound like a true zoomer.
Yeah, thank you.
And now Qadsiah looking to end this map, man. This is a team that they want to go home early. They want to head down to lunch, get some brunch even in early. The shield's online for Ziad, and who are you as a blade into absolutely nothing to counter, but I think Qadsiah is just like willing to do whatever in terms of, oh no, Ziad in the corner. This is so annoying. How do you deal with it?
Shield in the corner, and then he's got the TP on top. Yeah.
Yeah, so, and they're happy to kind of like play this one slow. And look at the damage. Mag's just dying. Mag is dead. Where's the ult, Gen.G? Blade pulls from who are you? Boop. No connection yet. Bap jumps away. They teleport away. They're trying to get on the checkmate. He TV's back. You're just dancing on who are you right now. Gen.G and Crispy with the rally. Canale trying to stay alive, but it's only the supports. Oh, the stall? Are they stalling him? Brutal stuff here on the field. And Gen.G's got to come out very quick. Exodio on the Desperation Widow, but there's a shield in his face. Mag can get a touch here. 3 minutes on the clock, and it should be an easy fight for Gen.G. This close to their spawn. Exodio grabs a kill. Who are you? Grabs another. So I'm just gonna full send it into the back line. Get what he can.
Mag going for the back cap. He's gonna just run it all the way.
Long back cap.
No, I mean,
this is a journey.
Ziad just like basically trying to touch the spawn door here, but the rest of the squad is going to spawn up. Interesting that we're going to see the Freya here, first time in the series right now, where feels like Freya we've seen just be like kind of a mainstay, but this is the second week after kind of like the nerf / adjustments, right? So last week maybe teams didn't have enough info in terms of like how rough those changes would be, right? You just still kind of roll out the same comps, and now with 2 weeks to play with it, maybe there's some teams that feel like it's not as strong. It'll be an amp matrix here for Gen.G. It's going to push Qadsiah back just a little bit, but Qadsiah though here with the tempo, yeah, they're going to use they're going to use that sound barrier though.
It's good value on the Surge, yeah, but the barrier maybe is too much. Checkmate energized on top of Mag, no cooldowns left. They're just pumping the damage though into Checkmate, trading it right back. Labda's got a couple arrows on him, rolls some of that explosive damage, but the follow-up is beautiful here from Exodio, continuing to land those shots. Gen.G with the Freya, stabilizing through this. Labda under a lot of pressure, needs to deliver a kill right now, but it's Kelix who takes out Who Are You, but Who Are You left a parting gift, and the damage is just immense from this Freya on the flank. It's proving to be a real problem. And eventually, Labda does go down. Gen.G gonna finally win a fight and start to make some kind of meterage progress. They had 0.49 meters. So pretty massive improvement on one fight.
Yeah, a huge improvement going from losing every fight, Jake, to finally getting in control of the bot. But it's to give out that much push early on, like you put yourself in such an insane win con to be able to kind of come out on top, right? Like everything would have to go right for you for like 2-3 minutes, and everything would kind of have to be wrong from the other side. I mean, that's a TP right up in Exodio. There's no way. There's no way Exodio can even dodge that, right? Like, how do you even get out of that zone, right? Because the TP comes in so fast, you're not able to really kind of react.
Labda is just so sharp these days. It's crazy to me that this guy like went from spamming Pharah in the Overwatch World Cup, and I was like, he's really good at Pharah, but like,
it's like a one trick.
He only plays Pharah, and now he's just like a beast on hits game. Like this, that's crazy. Like, when has that ever happened? You got a Pharah player who's now looking like one of the best hit scans in the region. Takes a lot of pressure from the Freya. I do think the Freya, even if the cast has come more into the meta, I think Freya has a really much better matchup against Symmetra than mirroring the Cassidy, where the TP just like totally devastates you. But look at this. I mean, you try to go for some cheeky map flip from Gen.G, and Qadsiah are just more than happy to take that trade. They're going to start pulling the cart away. You cannot get off the payload, but the window maybe is enough for Canale to stabilize. That sim wall is beautiful, though, from Checkmate, denying all the value from Canale's wall, and the clapback is beautiful. Labda just peeks through with the help of that sim wall. Now he's in the flank, onto the backline on Labda, and still killing off Exodio. Teleporting in, hitting you from every angle. Low HP, but does not care, doesn't need any of that extra HP. And I mean, Qadsiah, these fights are just, they're extra, they're bonus fights. It's like, sure, whatever. Every time you win a fight, this is going to be an overtime push for like a millennia for Gen.G, and that's about Qadsiah doesn't just finish the map out.
And you just make a great point about Labda as a player, right? We've seen kind of his growth this year specifically. In the past, we've kind of considered him like a Pharah one trick, like projectile heroes like that. You never kind of consider him, a Cassidy, a Sojourn, Freya. And not only is he playing it well, playing it like one of the best in the region, in a region that has a lot of good ones. Yeah, but the spear spin, though, can eat up a lot of that. Yeah, the spin does stabilize just enough. And they're clearing off the backline. These teleports are proving to be really problematic. A big stick from Who Are You, though, keeps the game in contest. Ziad likes to hold the Terra Surge, so it seems like Qadsiah are going to give this one up intelligently, looking for the closeout later on in the round. But the cleanup is very real here. Honestly, I think you would have won with the Kelix B here pretty dominantly. And maybe you still win. Okay, it's just Crispy soloing the car. Kelix should just solo B from the high ground and 1v1. I mean,
on him. Oh, surely he doesn't. Surely he doesn't. The team, you got to get out of here, bro. It's getting territory.
What is the plan here? Okay. Oh, the staggers. Wait, what?
Yeah, I mean, Crispy's forced to stay on the payload. Yeah, right? He's in a very awkward spot. Now Qadsiah are coming back in, and Mag like has no option. He can't leave this position. Landon also caught in a weird spot, but he's just fighting this one out. Mag goes down, and there's just too much pressure from Qadsiah, not allowing the regroup off the spawns. And I mean, once again, Matt, just look, not close. It's a beatdown. The TPs are immaculate from Checkmate. The whole team is using them at various points. It's hard to keep track of this for me, and I can see we got all the info as a caster. Imagine playing against this.
It's difficult, right? I mean, this is kind of what the London Spitfire, SG kind of like used to do to teams, right? With that sim TP, but they were kind of using it to, I would say, probably maybe mitigate some of their weaknesses with like having to play Reinhardt all the time. This is using that type of strategy with everybody kind of playing other meta heroes and like kind of being able to Sims TP for a while. I mean, obviously, like it's gone through a million iterations. It was like an ultimate for a bit, then obviously became like a core ability where just giving team mobility, like we see it with Lucio, right? Like Lucio can obviously give speed to everybody. It's massive. But giving characters who don't have an inherent speed the ability to get in and get out, and not just like with Lucio's speed, obviously you see everybody coming. With the Sim TP, it's just in and out. I mean, there's no way to kind of plan or react. And then I know you can get like layers deeper, right? You throw the TP down, you know, the other team turns thinking you're coming through. You don't come through it, then you speed through the other side, right? So it just creates a lot of chaos.
Yeah, and Checkmate has done really well with that. I also think the whole team really has the confidence, right, to make those plays. Like, they're teleporting Labda in on the flank, and he's just like going full send, push on the Cassidy. And sometimes he's like cleaning up, clutching out on very low HP. Landon on the BAP he just has his head on a swivel. Feels like he's always ready to support, you know, different players, whoever is in, whoever's making something happen with the TP. They're going to get a drone. They're going to get some extra help. Maybe it's going to be Landon coming in on the TP himself and you know, putting down some of that damage, getting it done on the flex support. And just, I mean, the pressure is immense. It's so challenging to play against this. And then it feels like once Checkmate gets energized in a fight, it's the beginning of the end. Maybe it's the end of the end, man, when Checkmate's up like that.
I think it is like just the end, right? And one interesting note here, like, who are you playing that Gen.G? As we see some of the stats, so like the KD and everything obviously looks closer, but the end result is the same. The Gen.G like seems to have you know, not the best matchups into like Freya potentially. So you think, okay, maybe that's a little bit of a win, but like the Gen.G into, you know, the Cassidy plus the Lucio like isn't a walk in the park, right? Especially when the Sim
Gen.G
is there.
versus Sim is really bad because
Yeah.
Sim just kills you. And if Sim is energized on your tank, you just cannot go near her on Gen.G. Like it is a death sentence, right? And even with Blade or something, like TP is one of the best basic abilities in the game against Dragon Blade, because you just lose your chance to get a guaranteed reset on somebody you thought you had dead to rights. And then there's a back drone. I mean, there's just layers on layers for who are you. This is, I would say, almost impossible to play Gen.G here.
So I'm not gonna lie, we get the next map, you know, over here in our Discord. Shout out to all the, you know, admins and everybody getting that info as soon as possible. The next map is a Gen.G selection, obviously. They go with New Junk City, which to me is like a great rush type of map for Qadsiah. Like, this is a map Qadsiah could have picked. I would love to see somebody take them to Gibraltar and get rid of the Diva and force them to try and play Orisa on Gibraltar with a Sim, or like Ziad play Winston. They get rid of the Sim, which is, you know, obviously you know, a huge get there. And then Qadsiah gets rid of the Brig on the other side. So then Ziad's allowed to just go crazy on Diva.
Yeah, I mean, this is an interesting map to ban the Brig. I wonder if Diva will get all that much play, because I would still think that maybe the Orisa is like stronger, or the Ramatra, just like these, you know, bigger, tougher frontliners who can really hold down the objective under a lot of focus fire from the other team. But I think in general, Qadsiah just have a lot of confidence in bringing the pace, and they would just maybe rather have no Brig on the field. They're like, all right, let's see who scraps better with no Brig. Let's see which supports can get a little bit more done without the Brig. And I think Kelix is probably feeling very confident in the Lucio, and just the overall team just feels like, you know, in those clutch fights, they're going to be the ones to get it done. The team play has been looking way better from Qadsiah.
And I guess with the map selections, it's like I feel like you have a better chance to throw them off of their game going to a hybrid or an escort or some of the maps in those pools, versus like a Runasapi in, you know, New Junk City, which basically everybody in EMEA is playing, right? Like it's not really a mystery kind of what comes out.
It's tough for Gen.G though, because in the end, Gen.G is also a rush team. Like,
that's true.
If you're going to like a Gibraltar, it's also going to be bad for Gen.G. It's more like just throwing and being an agent of chaos and injecting this inconsistency into the game. And you're right, Ziad is going to go over to the Diva.
Yeah, they're going to play
so
this.
Mag maybe is going to be able to bully the front line, but I'm scared. Like with the back line, maybe you're right, with no Brig to protect them, this Cassidy, this Baptiste could be just food for Ziad. Checkmate could hit the back line as well, and we get to see what he can do on the Tracer.
And we've already seen a few times throughout this series where Mag pushes up a little bit too far, and maybe the back line is being harassed by some of the players on Qadsiah, and they're just able to get away. So you see Landon just back all the way up here, the Immortality field down already, but that's actually nice. Kind of splits the supports from Ziad, and they're able to get him. Oh, but we get 3 kills on a clapback.
They just get this around, right? Gen.G pushes very hard there into the front line. And, you know, as much as we can say Mag's overstaying, I think part of the reality of this comp is you do need to full send on the Orisa and, like, get a kill. And you're not really there to defend your backline. That's not really what you do on Orisa. It's up to them to be able to duel well enough and fight off those Tracers and those Divas and, you know, buy you time. Mag's going to go over to the Ram and Exodial over to the Freya. but this is still scary. I mean, Qadsiah have been doing so well at allowing the push to come in, surrounding you, and then just eating you from all sides, right? And for now, Ziad's just willing to fall back, play this one slow. He's in point control, right? He is under no pressure to make anything happen on D.Va, and Gen.G are just playing Ring Around the Rosie. They're not really forcing anything to happen just yet.
And I'm not even saying Mag is in the wrong when I'm saying he's pushing out maybe a little bit too far. He's probably actually in the right in terms of how they have to play it. It just seems like maybe the rest of the team is like a little bit too passive, right? Just playing a little bit too slow. I was going to say they get that first kill on the Lambda, but for that they end up giving up 2 players. It looks like, dude, Landon feels like just able to live for so long. Mag finally takes him out, but what's the cost, right? You've lost all your armor.
So well.
Yeah.
I like the Qadsiah. It's like they're willing to take risks. Like Labda is willing to die for the play. When he sees the moment to strike or when the team makes that call, this is that team something I love to see from Qadsiah is like the player who's like, oh, I'm going to die if I do that. Yeah. I'm gonna die, and I'm also gonna do that. I'm also gonna, like, the call is to push, I'm pushing, and then somebody else is gonna come out and succeed because of that sacrifice, right? Well, because of that full court press from the team play.
It's kind of at least in, you know, obviously games I competed in, you know, and obviously, you know, I am a top Overwatch competitor, you know, multiple,
that's what we all say about you, man.
Multiple winner of the talent takedown, where you're better off at, nice pulse bomb there, but I think it's just too many players dead. You're better off just like, even if it's not maybe the right move to play like aggressive at the time, as long as the entire team commits, you're in a better spot, right? Like you have to just kind of all agree, like, okay, I'm going to give up my life and we're going to go in. I know I'm probably going to die here, but it's going to result in something good. You know, one person kind of balks at that and like everything kind of falls apart. So for Qadsiah, I love the fact that when they want to go, they're all committed. Everybody on the same page, ready to go.
Recall force from Who Are You has to fall back off this. Labda with the high noon is zoning away some of the follow-up, but the damage is immense. They're able to burst down Labda. Beat comes in now. Clap back from Gen.G. They want to get some point control. Beat is traded. Big stick onto the Tracer isn't up, but he's off the map. Booped away by his own ultimate. Ziad drops the scepter. He can get back into the suit. This is going to be great for the team.
Immortality field.
Just that. Labda crosses spawn quick with the Gen.G. D.Va coming in. Mag just trying to peel off the backline. Still very healthy. Big advantage now for Gen.G as they look to come forward and get this flip. But Qadsiah are notoriously hard to clear off these points. Now it's Calyx's turn to come in for the stall. See if Checkmate has the follow-up stall. Yes, here he is on the Tracer. Gonna recall out and stay alive. Just be able to match the tempo of the next team's repush. But yeah, that was expensive from Gen.G.
And it gets Qadsiah probably another like 10-15% there, just kind of stalling between Ziad, Checkmate, Calyx, and yeah, it is very costly as Mag goes over to the D.Va here. So the only difference, right? We're not seeing that Freya here from Qadsiah. It seems like Labda really would prefer to play either the Sojourn or the Cassidy, and then they're still going to be able to play that Baptiste, which honestly, dude, Landon puts out so much damage, you may as well continue to do it.
Ooh. Freya has been pushed off the high ground for now. And although Qadsiah don't come up with the pick with that, they have a bit of map control. Who Are You trying to strike back and trade? And it's Exodial is able to find Landon with the assistance of the Mag dive. Players are low, but it seems like Gen.G may be doing enough, bringing the aggression with this Lucio Kiri D.Va comp. Desperately, they're trying to demech Mag, but the supports are on the case, keeping Mag up, and that's huge. Ziad goes down and is going to be probably brutally delayed here, and this could be a point in the bag for Gen.G. This delay is going to be really costly. I don't know if, pretty unlikely. I think Ziad comes back to the fight. Maybe Checkmate can stall in enough overtime. Maybe you can speed players back, and Qadsiah, they're not known to give up easily, but this one looks really rough.
I think you have to kind of just punt on this one. Yeah, give it up there to Gen.G is they battle back. That was Qadsiah get like 70-something% there off the rip, and then Gen.G able to make it happen after that as they tie it up. But we'll see if Qadsiah, though, on this kind of rotation can end up picking up a few kills. Who Are You lurking, but no pulse bomb to work with.
And Landon and Labda really have their work cut out for them in this comp. There's so many threats going to be hitting them from all sides, and Gen.G has really seized the initiative with the comp they've selected. It's a nice fallback, though, from this backline. They're going to stabilize for now. The Bola shot seems to have gone wide. Ziad needing a bit of support, but the Amp Matrix is providing just that. Getting this D.Va back up and healthy as they look to make the repush. And that was the rush expended as well from Gen.G. And so now Qadsiah looking to repush in. Don't want to give this point up for free. Trying to take the fight before that comes down. High noon being used. They're trying to desperately damage through Labda. Rolls gets the flash off, but the beat is just overwhelming from Crispy. And it's a full team wipe now. Gen.G getting it done with that second support ult.
Do you think this is like maybe having the Freya and the Kiri? Like, is that like the difference here for you between these two teams right now? Because feels like since Gen.G's kind of made those adjustments, they've been able to come out on top in a lot of these fights.
I mean, they've been seizing the tempo back on this second and third round, and it's been really looking good for them. You talked about that, just being willing to commit on the aggression. Landon is going to go over to the Curie and try to maybe match that, give Checkmate a little bit of more support on these off angles, play a little bit more for the flanking fight. Lambda, though, is going to be a liability on Cassidy. It's going to be hard to stay alive here. The cap pressure coming in from Checkmate. Looks to come back in and just actually get active in the fight instead. Maybe thinking about throwing this pulse bomb in. Cleanses out. Lambda, meanwhile, has stabilized in the backline, dealt with Guaryu, and Checkmate can tend to just be that distraction, pulling a ton of attention from the supports, from the Freya. Ziad started the problem that has the self-destruct if he goes down here. And you're incredibly low on Exodial. Is there any follow-up to be able to take down this Freya? The point is being held on to desperately by Gen.G, but the health is low, and Ziad is just frenzy mode here in the backline, forcing so many reactions to his presence.
Oh, yeah, he does get hit with a pulse bomb there. Okay, so he does end up taking some damage, but they're able to kind of heal it all up. Yeah, they know Mag is so
really
low.
brutal team wipe. TP, nothing left for Kiri. This is everyone's going down here. Even Mag is going to be sent packing off to the respawn, and that pulse bomb, it lands. It's almost a DMAC, but that also in the end that there's no cleanup, and they're able to just farm up some of those more support ults. Landon is going to have the rush to open up this next fight, and Qadsiah once again are in control.
It does, though, feel like the Cassidy is an easy rush target, though, for Gen.G, right? It's like, okay, he is clearly the outlier in these comps. Like, run down the Cassidy. You know, he tries to use, like, a Deadeye before Lambda to kind of maybe, like, stay alive a little bit longer. To deter people, but not good enough.
He's also tanky, and the Lucio speed to be maybe enough to get him out. Rush comes in early, a better rush now out of Qadsiah. They're willing to play this one slow. Exodio took a lot of damage. He's not fighting at full strength. The Kelix gets the cleanup. The heals just aren't quite there in time. Kanale was turning, looking for that backline DPS, but could not find them. Mag finds one, but Ziad trades it, and it's once again preserving that mech, staying alive. And with the clock ticking this high, hold on, who are you? Has something to say about it, trying to get active here, trying to keep that round going. Crispy low as well, trying to heal himself up. Who are you? Could clutch this one out. It finds maybe one more kill. The supports now working together from Qadsiah, trying to stabilize, trying to ward off this Tracer. Ziad so low, dies just before getting that self-destruct online. It is a desperation OT now from Gen.G. They cannot back off the point at all. Beat comes down from Crispy. A better beat from Kelix. Gets onto Ziad as well. He's going to be able to farm back up into this suit from this fight. Who are you with the pulse bomb? The hero may be in his team's hour of need, but so hard to find the pulse in this spot. Players dropping like flies on Gen.G. Throws it out in desperation, but it's too little, too late, and they're not able to touch the point.
And I'd love to go back and maybe even see that later, because I actually believe Kanale doesn't get the benefits of Crispy's sound barrier. And then they end up losing Kanale right away after that. So that's a huge miss there for Gen.G. If you're going to use the beat in that type of scenario, keep that point going. I mean, and not landed on one of your other supports and then ends up having him getting taken out. That's brutal, as they're trying to bait them in here. They're trying to bait them into this Checkmate pulse bomb.
Yeah, but Checkmate now is going to be able to hit the flank now. Uncontested. I don't think they're really ready for this. No one's scouting it out. He shows himself, just starting to put some damage down on this Lucio. Wants to force that cleanse out before he commits to the pulse bomb. And Lambda, just the bodyguard on the point, in full control. Ziad strikes, sees that opportunity to get aggressive alongside Checkmate, calling that damage in the flank. And here's Lambda coming in as well, layering in the pressure. They're not afraid to deploy this backline and bring them into the brawl on Gen.G's side of the map. Connections go wide from Exodial. No damage from the Bola shot, and the mech just blown up for Mag. They're going to even delay this Baby Diva, kill her off eventually. Who are you? With a couple blinks, can't even get out of this one. They're trying to hunt this Tracer. This is an incredibly deep chase from Qadsiah, and they're going to back off.
Qadsiah is so good at attacking you from like different angles and then just collapsing, right? Like Checkmate is putting pressure on a Crispy on the side, Ziad's at the door, Lambda's up on the high ground, and then as soon as a bunch of these players get weak and get like pushed back, then everybody from Qadsiah from all different angles collapses. And like you see Mag just kind of like spinning around in circles with the defense matrix, like that, not even knowing who he can or tries to look to who can protect. So this will be the Kitsune rush here over the point. This might end up setting up Qadsiah for just needing one more fight to win it.
Yeah, in the end, they're not getting kills off though, so Gen.G can have their own rush to strike back with. This is going to be crucial. It's a nice position here on point from Kanale, but he's split. There's so much focus fire coming back the other way. The self-destruct from Ziad isn't going to be enough, zoning people off the point, creating space and time for Lambda to make his plays. Mag has a self-destruct of his own, but the rest of his team is falling around his ears. Even Mag killed off in the Baby Diva form. Pulse bomb from Who Are You, but the beat is going to end this one with a period. Qadsiah, a 3-0 stomp, a beatdown, and this is, I mean, Gen.G making this one competitive, showing us something, and Qadsiah they're just clearing them on every level right now.
I mean, I think we all knew that this would go the way of Qadsiah. I was looking to see like, okay, what progress has Gen.G made from like the beginning of the stage, right? Because they've had a few weeks with this team now, in everybody here and everybody kind of playing together. And to have this flat of a performance against Qadsiah, like that's kind of rough, right? I mean, you get one flashpoint here at the end. The control on Oasis was pretty much a blowout. And then for most of the push, you were at 0.445, like half of a meter, right? I mean, not the most inspiring performance.
No, it really wasn't. But honestly, I think most people who have been watching throughout Stage 2 expected kind of that result. Every team is falling pretty flat when they're going up against Qadsiah, who just look dinky across the board, as some might say. Never heard that word, by the way. Like that.
When he said that,
I don't even. Is
this some TikTok thing, Jake? What should we know about this?
Yeah,
I don't know, man. He's just hitting dinks. He's hitting dinks. He's looking dinky. That's all there is to it.
Unrelatable for me. But yeah, no, I mean, I think it's very interesting to just see a checkmate continuing to go unchecked, really, on that Symmetra. Already that caused like necks and backs to break last week for Peps. They couldn't find an answer to it, and it looks like here in this match, the opposition was equally lost against it. So yeah, they can just continue their aggression without being punished ever.
I feel like you either need to play like a committed anti-cheese on Sim, like a Pharah comp or a Wrecking Ball comp, you know, and like really
but they can
change
still
the game.
switch off of the Sim and still look as good. Like it's
That's the thing.
That's a frustrating
maybe
thing,
one
right?
of the first teams that we've ever seen that looks this good on the Sim, but is also that good on the conventional comps. So the Sim is just one tool in their arsenal. I mean, Checkmate is kind of a huge innovator, has always been a very flexible player, but now I think his particular skill set is paying dividends to Qadsiah.
I would take my chances forcing them off of the Sim, and if they beat you playing kind of, you know, whether it's like Gen.G or Tracer and some of the other stuff, cool, you can go out like that. But to just like let him just farm up on the Sim the entire game and just run you over in 20 minutes, I mean, there's got to be a better way.
The thing is, like, it's not just like the Symmetra, right, which causes all those issues. Then you have like a Landon, who's basically just a third DPS player in the server, like completely tearing you apart. Like, he's playing so aggressive, and the entire team just follows up. You guys mentioned that during the cast. They're just on the same page. They, like, even if they make the wrong choice, they all make it together, which somehow turns it into the right choice.
I mean, it's a team game, right? And they're a team that I think really understands that deeply. Like when I see Labda swinging into 3 players and like dropping 2 headshots before dying, I'm like, what is going on? And then the whole rest of Qadsiah is just boom, they're like killing you all, right? And that type of a play for a player like Labda, especially for a hit scan player, who are usually, they're always like, you know, you learn, you want to get really good at playing hit scan, you got to stay alive, man. If you're playing pubs, don't do what Labda's doing. Like, just play your own life and try to make your own plays. Or but in this level of play, your whole team is following up. Like, Labda is the full trust in the comms to die first on hit scan like that, and that it keeps working out for Qadsiah. It really impresses me.
Or just try what Labda does in your games. And, you know,
yeah,
it doesn't work. I say
the teamwork, the teammates might not be there for you the way Landon is there for Labda.
Right, but then that's your team's fault. That's the team's fault. That's the team's fault. Blame your teammates.
That's why you're in plat. That's why you're in plat.
That's the spirit of my
I've got it locked down. I am the champion of plat.
That's yes, facts. Them's the facts. Another fact is that Siad is an absolute MVP performer, and that's why they got themselves the player of the match honor. It's just been impressive across the board in everything they play. An absolute force to be reckoned with, and unstoppable, really.
Would you say, is it like obviously we're, you know, final week here, the regular season in EMEA, that like he's been like the MVP kind of for EMEA? In Stage 2, like it feels like for me,
I feel so. He's the most consistent. There was not a single game where I was like, "Oh, Zia, I don't know about that." Like,
I feel like Qadsiah, it's a team that, like, I actually think when a team has an obvious MVP, it's a bad sign. To have a player who's like obviously carrying you, you're just not a good team if that's the case. And a team as good as Qadsiah, it's like the reality is, yeah, Ziad's looking great. He is a really strong player, but the whole team is playing on such a level where you can't separate out an individual's performance. When the team, with the way this team plays, they're always hitting as a team. It's never one player solo carrying. That's just not how they play.
I guess my argument would be is that in the tank role in EMEA, where some teams have to move different players in and out of the lineup, they're able to always have a strong look with him, and he's never like a weak link per se in some of the other kind of compositions outside of the diva. And in a lot of cases, he's like as good, if not better, than some of the other team's players that are playing tank on these other roles. Like, I wouldn't say it's
if we just look in the EMEA, like if we're doing a role star MVP here, he's the top tank in EMEA, and it's not even close.
Yeah. I think KSA and TBNT have also looked really good, but you're right, Matt. The key factor here is that Ziad, he's just always
Flexible.
in. Like
he's always there.
It's a valuable factor that you can hard commit on one player, and that is not easy to do. A lot of players have they don't play the full hero set of tanks. The tanks are kind of very unique. Like different tanks can play very differently, and the fact that Ziad can handle them all, I think you're absolutely right. So he's very impressive. I think it's the flexibility from players like Ziad and Checkmate and even Labda is like part of the recipe for success for Qadsiah. Maybe the reason teams don't pick the fireball like anti-sim cheeses is because they know as soon as they do that, they're going to be playing against Tracer Diva and they're just going to lose. And so it's like, what do you do, man? How do you be? I just think Qadsiah is tapped in. This is the meta. And I think this is going to be what decides the EMEA playoffs here, is who can make the sim work.
I'm
better.
so excited to see Qadsiah going up against the international competition here as well, right? Once we're heading to Riyadh for EWC. It's going to be so exciting. It's going to be so hyped to see whether we actually finally see a crack in the armor. Currently, if we're looking at the standings, they're sitting comfortable on top. They've been so effing dominating. Like, it's no one can touch them. A 7-0, they're making it clean again, apart from like literally week 1. That's the only week where they even dropped some maps.
Don't sleep on Twisted Minds. We were talking a little bit about it. I wouldn't sleep on them because it's they take Qadsiah the distance, and I obviously think they've gotten better since then. And it's the one team that would like just mirror what Qadsiah is playing, which is like a little bit weird for them to even play against because nobody else is doing it, right? And if nobody else is doing it, you don't really kind of know how that pans out. And I think Twisted Minds, I think the difference is like obviously they have to bring in like KSA and TBNT, but like as an overall roster, especially when Psycho's playing now, they've looked really good.